Hello, everyone, and welcome to Basket Weaving 101.
Well, I'm in the wrong panel.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm at the right one. So, anyway, this is free to fee, or like I put down, or as I like to call it, they made me do a goddamn panel. The key to marketing your work and doing your work is the word always. Remember the word always. Always. And you'll see why, because there's a ton of information that you'll get from going from free to fee. You're going to find that there's going to be people who are going to say, can you draw me something? Can you work on my book? Can you do whatever?
Followed by, I can't pay you yet.
That's it. Whether there's money on the ass end of something or there's money at the beginning, it's always never going to be enough. Always. So what you're really looking at is the promise for work. I will paint your house and it'll be blue and you'll love it. And you're going to tell everyone that I painted your house and it'll get my name out there. I will be a painter, and watch, I'll never get a piece of goddamn work. And I'll be sitting there with the brush and I'll be like, I'm ready for the next house. But the thing is that getting your name out there is important when you're marketing something. But you don't market yourself, because your style, like we've talked about before, your style will market you for you. So always be prepared, always. And the first and the most important thing is whenever you do work for somebody, you own your originals. So you have your original drawing. Hey, I just drew this for you, and this is going to go for your book.
Thank you.
I'm going to scan it, and I'm going to make a high-res scan, and I'm going to send him the files. I'm keeping the originals. He's going to use the scans for whatever he needs. He only needs them one time. Now, if he pays or makes a contract with you for the originals, then you make a scan and you keep the scan for yourself and you give him the original. The most important thing is size. Everything has to be larger than the normal size. I would do it 400 to 600 DPI. In the olden days, we were just talking about this, we would do things 1200 and higher DPI, back when the machines couldn't even go that high. There's 100 uses for your artwork after you've already produced the piece. Once the pen leaves the paper, that's not it. You're still drawing that piece. You are using that piece. That's yours. The first part of this is maintaining domain over your art. If you do a job for a client, you will always own the originals. They are yours, period. And you send the scans, arrange for them to purchase it, blah, blah, blah. I worked for a company, I won't say which one, to be fair, and they ripped me off. I did 28 pages of inks, plus a few promo pieces that they threw me. And I inked them up. The artist was a new guy, very good, like extremely good. And I inked it. So I have 28 pages of originals. I have a script. I have promo art. I have all kinds of stuff. So I took the originals, pardon me, I took the originals, I put them in a book, and I took them to shows. $50, $75 a page. Took them on eBay, put them up for $20, $25 to start. They'd go up to $40, $50, $60. I sold all of them. Every single one. I have none left. I don't care what people, I'm not like a lot of people. I believe that the fans should have stuff in their hands. This is how we make an industry. Being a fan in the comic book industry is the hardest job there is. I don't care what anybody says. You know, if you take your $5 of hard-earned money and you don't buy anything from liquor to tampons and you decide to buy my comic book, I'm flattered. So that keeps me in business. So I sold all the originals, hundreds of dollars. I took 2 pages that I had, I made them into prints, color prints. I've been selling them. The work basically is mine. It was not licensed work. It was not based on something. It was generic. It was general. It's mine. Plain and simple. And I've been making money off of it since. I made more money selling the originals and the prints and marketing around that I worked on the book and putting the hashtag blah 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 after everything I do than I would have made if I did the job twice over. Now, that's a really important thing. If you're doing something generic, I did a card set for a company called Cult Stuff in the UK. It was all Civil War stuff. I drew some generals on horseback. I drew some guy, like sitting like this with his rifle, the whole thing, blah, blah, blah. I don't know what the hell I'm fighting for. And on and on and on. And I blew them up into prints. Put one on a t-shirt, sold a couple of them. It's generic. Who owns that soldier? It's not copyright Soldier Boy 2012, blah, blah, blah. Same thing with historical figures. I did the same thing. This part is what, like I had put down, something I like to call supplemental printings, otherwise known as I stayed up all night watching TV in the hotel, and this is the best that I could have come up with. But in most cases, you have general purpose ideas and general applications for everything that you do, 100%. He has beautiful panels of artwork, and he did a book. You did the Wraith.
Yeah.
And the Wraith is a Batman style character that's in Australia. It has a medium popularity to it. Now, let's say on the street, describe a street panel. One of the ones that you did, what was it, that one where he was in the subway?
Yeah, just, it was 3 people that they were trying to reclaim some treasure that was buried in an old subway that had been closed down around World War II. So I just took and drew a subway scene, one guy swinging a hammer, breaking through the concrete flooring. So that's where it's all buried. So, but again, it's very generic. So
now
never got used.
Now there's the rub. He drew a hammer. He drew somebody in a subway station. There's posters on the wall. There's a garbage can. There's I don't know, some writing on the wall like graffiti. There's a park bench there. You got to build for yourself what's called a clip art book. You need a clip art book. It's the most important thing an artist can do for themselves. You take every garbage can you've ever drawn, scan it, remove all the lines around it, take the garbage cans and just put them all there. That's your garbage can. That's your park bench. That's your hammer. They can be used for, and people laugh about this, but how many times have you seen a shower curtain with a bear walking, like the cutesy little bear walking in front of the 2 trees, but it's also on your toilet paper, it's also on your kids' diapers, it's also on your paper towels. It's a tattoo. You build a clip art book of your own work, and that clip art will pay for itself later on. We can go to embroidery companies, which my friend John Orlando does. He has some beautiful artwork that he takes to embroidery companies. They make patches for hats, and they make leather jackets, and blah, blah, blah. And his work is amazing. And he's got some beautiful artwork. And a friend of mine used to do toilet paper and paper towel art all the time. Everything from candles to a bear in front of in front of a canoe, or it could be a sledgehammer, it could be a bomb. Everything from the smiley face to keep on trucking with the guy walking with the large gate. It's all clip art.
A bomb toilet paper, that would be actually apropos.
There's a surprise.
Yeah.
But it's
I wouldn't
important.
go in there.
It's just like what I was saying before in the other panel. Gil Kane had a swipe book. He swiped for himself. It's good to have a book of things like that. You might have liked the way you shaded something. You might have liked the way you looped around. Or somebody might turn around. I have a friend online, I can't say what company, they come up every week and they say, we need artists to draw a dragon. Send me all your dragon pictures, and whatever the client likes, you can, we'll contact you. So you go to your clip art book, and you got anything to do with dragons or dinosaurs or blah, blah, send it in. The clip art really helps you because you can use it for a million things. I have my Mac in Trouble comic book downstairs in the room. I had an original artist draw a bunch of panel newspaper strips. Now, I printed all of those. They've appeared in like minor league baseball programs. They've appeared in newspapers. Some of them have been in the comics, etc. You have to consider your work modular. Think about taking a chessboard, 12 by 12, turning it on its side. You pull a box out from the bottom, you put it on top. It fits. Guess what? It's still 12 by 12. Take out a few from the middle, stagger them all around. It fits. Guess what? It's 12 by 12. You got to learn to pull one piece out, put one piece in. It's like Legos. It fits together or it never fits. So you take this modular piece. I go ahead and I take Mac, and I love this one pose that is in one panel. It's just this one stray thing where he's like this, and it's cute because it's a cat and blah, blah, blah. I crop it out. It's been used for a t-shirt. It's been used for a trading card. I merge it with another piece of art from another panel and make a whole new strip. It's modular. I can do anything I want with any piece that I want. I'll go to my clip art library. I'll find someone slipping on a banana. I'll pull the guy out. I'll put the cat on top of the banana. Guess what? Max slipped on a banana. And it's not the part about not drawing it or whatever, but it's keeping the style, keeping the theme, and being able to work with it. That's the advertising way. That's a 50s, 60s Mad Men type advertising way to do things. And it's important. It really is. You're drawing a piece right now for that one comic.
Yeah.
He's got a piece down there that's beautiful. If you haven't seen it, go down. I won't say which one unless he wants to, but it's drawn really well. You went online and you referenced what the name was.
Yeah, the name of the character. I said, well, what would that look like? You know, because it's an astronomical body. And I said, what does that look like? So again, like I was saying earlier about reference, I just went in, put the word in, brought it up, images of. Oh, okay, cool. That'd look nice as a background. So normally, like what Rusty's talking about, if I had the time for it, I would just draw that background and be able to use it again and again and again and again. So, but I just don't have the time for that right now, so I'm actually putting it in to the art piece. But who knows, 6 months from now I might go, you know what, I'm going to redraw that same background and then just be able to use it again. Especially if you're doing stuff like space, you know, spaceships and, you know, star fields and everything like that. Take the time, just draw some out, and like Rusty's saying, make it clip art. And then that way the next time you go, oh, somebody asked me to do a space piece, they want a unicorn flying across the universe. You don't have to draw it again, you've already got it.
Just draw the
I've got the
unicorn.
background, now I just draw the unicorn, slap that on, here you go.
Yeah, and like I have here, there are public domain applications to your work. The clip art library is going to be your best friend, and it's not something that
Keep all your scans.
Yeah,
When you
it's-
scan something,
yeah.
as much as I might, oh wow, my computer's getting clogged up and I gotta put it onto a disk,
Put it on a disk
or
or
a
something.
flash drive or something. Keep all your scans.
Yes.
Because if you're not, you're gonna be like me, going back to somebody going, hey, you know that high-res piece that you colored for me 3 years ago? You still have a copy of that you can send it to me? It's a pain, so now I'm having to put everything down on a disk. And that way I've still got it. So save everything.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to waste a lot of time. I'm gonna
You've already done that.
because I know that we only have a short time here, but so I'll read from this instead of going off. Free jobs mean profit if they're done correctly, which is something that was told to me that started this whole thing for me. You know, somebody gave me the snowflake, it turned into an avalanche, because in the beginning it was like, make money off of your free jobs, you stupid idiot, and then here I am, stupid idiot, reading from the paper. So it says, if a job has no pay or contract, do it for trade. If you can get, I did a cover for a company, a Canadian company. Actually, we did a cover for that Canadian company. They gave us a couple of books each. I signed.
That the Skywatcher?
Yeah, I signed the couple of books. I put them on the table and I sold them. And then I sold the original piece of artwork, and I made more money than if I was hired to do it. And it worked. And then I would pull a panel out or a picture out, make a print, just like I was telling you before. There are ways that you can put on the bottom of it, you know, this is from this book, copyright, whatever, here's their website, and it works in their favor. You can still sell it. I mean, look at the bottom of a McDonald's toy, you know, copyright, blah, 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 Pokemon, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it doesn't mean that it's it's protected. It doesn't mean that you're ripping them off. You're showing an example of your work. In most cases, you'll get comp copies of the book or items that you worked on, and it's a good idea to sell the signed comps, sell the original pages of artwork that you're making. I've actually gone online and sold a lot of stuff. I mean, I do a lot like that. So somebody had me draw whatever it was, and I went ahead and I drew it and inked it. I made, on my printer, I made 5 copies. I spit them out, 5 copies. Number 1 of 5, number 2 of 5, number 3 of 5. And I have them in the book downstairs. I have, I think, 1 left. It was a picture of Betty Grable, the 40s sex siren. And it was her in a graveyard. It had to do with a UK company, and it was all horror images of real people. So I have like a dead Marilyn and a dead this and a dead that, stupid stuff. You know, you just do what you do. You might not like dog food, but if they pay you, you eat dog food, la la la. So I drew this really nice Betty Grable.
I don't go to his place for dinner.
So I got 5 of them. I told people, this was an original card from blah, blah, blah. It's a good story. Once you make eye contact with somebody, you keep eye contact with them. You tell them the story. You show them everything. Nobody sits behind their table and makes money by going, no, you're an entertainer. You got to use your work to your best benefit. So I had 5 of them in the book. I say, these are prints made from the original card, and they were prints. It was not original anything. It was just a straight Xerox copy on a quality paper. Sold all of them except for 1, $5 each. So that original card, the job got me a certain amount per card. I sold the original piece of artwork for like $20 or $30, and then I sold all of those, and they're limited. Somewhere floating around, there's 1 of 5 to 4 of 5 out there signed, and it's a collectible, and I made it myself. And you have to be creative in that respect, because I don't care what you draw. You could draw crap, and if it's limited, people will see stuff. They'll see an intent in it. Make sure you put that it's limited on there. If you're numbering something, don't number it 1 to 10. Number it like P1 to P10, like promo 1 to pro 10, or whatever. And people will understand that it's a promo, or they'll understand that it's limited in some fashion. And it makes it more special. It's basically like a marketing technique or a creative piece. You have to advertise the product just as much as you have to make the product stand out on its own. The merchandise that you can make cell phone covers, you can make stickers, you can make whatever. If you're going to make a print, you're unlimited to what you can make. I'm sorry. If like historical figures, news figures, random objects, whatever. I drew a picture years ago of a girl. She was in a bikini bottom, and she had like one of those crop tops. She had a big chest, but that was the time, and had some company logo on it. I took the logo off, put in a couple of shade lines. That wound up on a t-shirt, and it wound up on a skateboard for a company. And I think the original picture was like maybe $50, $40 to draw, whatever the hell. I sold the original for $20. I think the skateboard company paid me $100. Somebody else paid me for something else. Somewhere it's still sitting. And it appeared in a book one time. I gave it to somebody as a pinup for free. Multiple applications. Maybe it wasn't the shirt. Maybe it was just her from the waist up. Or maybe, which is very popular, and I do this a lot, you could silhouette something. Go into Photoshop. You get your picture, do the marching ants around it, invert it, fill it with black or whatever color, make a silhouette of it. You're almost making a new piece of artwork. I did that one time for something that I did. I think it was a car, and I used it in the background. Oh no, it was the cow that I put on that Skywatcher cover. I drew a picture of a cow, shrunk it down this big, inverted it, silhouetted it, put it on the cover. I didn't even have to bother anything. And then the colorist comes along and, oh, that's really cool, blah, 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 blah. And, you just have to be very creative.
What did you do with the Houdini stuff that you just did recently?
Oh, all the Houdini stuff that I did for the trading card set. Promoter got it. producer got it. I also turned around and took some of the heavier pieces, and some of the family members really liked them, so I blew them up and made large photographs, 8.5 by 11. And some of the artwork is being used for a print that's going to be handed out at the museum in Pennsylvania. Cool. So, but it was the one original sold, cards sold, but the artwork is continuing. It's to live on, you know. The biggest thing that you could do, now this shifts, the biggest thing that you could do is learn that your art isn't the only thing that represents you. Your art doesn't define you. You are not an artist, okay? You might think you're an artist, you draw a picture of something, you're not an artist. You're not a writer because you wrote a book. You're not a painter because you painted a painting. You're an entertainer. When pop culture moved in, comic books and all the definitions moved out. When you go to a show, it's like a mall. Hey, I could buy action figures over there, underwear over there. Hey, look, Jim Taylor's got some stuff and blah, blah, blah. But it's not like it was, where you can go to a comic book show and there's hundreds of boxes of comic books all around and you're fishing for the latest Human Fly or Superman or whatever the hell you're buying. It's not like that. Pop culture, cosplay, the Doctor Who, the fan stuff, they all drove out the definitions. You are not an artist. Anime, yeah. You're an entertainer. So when you entertain, you're at your table, talk to people. It goes right back to the eye contact and whatever. When I go to shows, you use these tips or not, I take a trading card, I make them up for shows. I sign them, put my artwork on the front, descriptions on the back, make deals with my printer, whatever it is that I want to do. I'll sign them. Jim will sign them too if we worked on it together. I'll have a print of the Mac in Trouble stuff. I'll say, hey, this is a sample of my book. It just came out, blah, blah, blah. People like that. You're signing something for free. You're not cheating yourself out of a sale. What you're doing is you're endearing yourself to the person. And you have to diversify. You can't just walk up and say, hey, look, this is my artwork. Take a look at all my stuff. Oh, that looks really good. That's nice. I'm not in the market to buy art. I'm at the next table before you even take another breath. I have on my table, and this is an example. Like I said, you have to tailor it to you. I have on my table trading cards, photos, DVDs of movies or TV stuff that I've worked on, books that I've worked on, original art, prints, different sizes, some colors, some not, because we donate to animal shelters. My wife makes jewelry. We have these corn warmers that you put around your neck that are like Superman, Batman, Star Wars, whatever. But you have to diversify, because if you don't, when you're an entertainer, look at any entertainer. They write, they act, they sing, they dance, they do a little bit of this, they're on TV, they do a commercial, they're in Japan hawking Coca-Cola that tastes like crap, they're doing whatever, they're like, hey, buy this new Oldsmobile. They do everything because it's in their field. Well, if you're an entertainer and you consider yourself an entertainer, your field widens. So you set your table up to where it's lively, you're in person with the people, you do not leave, you do not play, you do not mess around with people's affections, you entertain them. People come to the table, let me tell you a story. Let me joke around with you. Wow, that is a cool costume. Can I take a picture of you? Here, you want to see it? And they walk up to the table and you show them the picture. Marketing your table as yourself, that defines you. Your attitude defines you. And that's how you make money. That's how you always turn free work into paid work, because you're selling everything that you've done in the past and yourself. Prints are an extension of original artwork. You sell the original, you never stop selling the prints.
That's the next panel that they're doing, a big one.
Oh no!
Out there,
but that's the thing, and I tell people all the time: be as creative as you need to be, because there's going to be some guy that's going to come along in 1 minute and he's going to make money off of you. Sometimes people go to my table, look at my stuff, wow, you're a great artist and this is really nice, and oh, you were on that show, that's amazing, and blah, blah, blah. Then they'll walk to the next guy's table and they'll buy 2 Legos and be like, yeah, I wish I had done a Lego, god damn it. But, that's the way it is. So when pop culture and all the other things moved in, the definition's moved out and it's more strained and more diluted. So you have to define yourself heavily as an entertainer now. That's the key. But anyway, you could talk about this for 100 hours. I mean, that's really about it.
And he would if they'd let him.
But the bottom line is, your artwork never stops being your artwork, and it never stops selling for you. So that's why you got to use it to your best advantage. And when you're at a show, diversification is the big thing. Someone might not want to buy a giant print for $10, but they might want to buy a photo for $1, or they might want to buy some tchotchke you bring on the table, whatever. I've seen big guys
They might want to buy your Batman throw at a convention.
You should tell them that. That was hysterical.
I had this Batman plushie rug throw, whatever you want to call it. I'd had it in my studio for years, And I just happened to put it in with all my other stuff. We ended up going to the Rhode Island Comic-Con last year. I was like, oh, what did I bring this for? You know what? I'll just put it up behind me try to make an attractor so people come by. It was like the second day of the show, some guy comes by and goes, how much for that? Made me an offer. $50. I was like, okay, that's fair. So I sold it to him and everything like that. I'd had it in my studio for like 8 years. I didn't do anything, And so I went back home that night and I said, you know what? I got to look this up. And I went onto eBay. You can get them for $20.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so funny. I've actually had the same type of thing happen to me before, too. I was doing some inking on a project. I put down my inking pens, and I'm very meticulous about, it's 005, then 1, then 2, then 3, blah, blah, blah. So I put them in the holder, and the guy goes, wow, those are really cool. What are those? And I said, those are the pens I use to ink. And he goes, that's really cool. Can I get those? And I said, sure, you could. And before I even said Michael's AC Moore and made a commercial for everybody, the guy was like pulling out a $20 bill like he was going to buy the pens right off the table. I'm like, dude, wait a minute.
First of all, each pen costs.
Yeah. But anyway, the thing is that obviously this became a discussion more than it became a panel. Usually when there's a lot of people, people funnel a question about, I have this, I have that. When it comes
let's
to
find out if
licensing.
that has a question.
Well, yeah. So I was going to say, if you've got something to do with licensing or rights or characters or whatever, please ask. I mean, we're always around. You can find us on Facebook, and I'll answer anything. 3 a.m, you can come up with a question, and I'll answer it because I love helping people. But if you've got something now, licensing, rights, something of an attitude when you're doing something that you want to define, whatever, bring it up, because this is more of a audience participation thing.
They're participating.
Yeah, I hear them right now.
They're showing nude photos of you out there right now.
Oh my God.
Wait till you hear the gasps of horror when it's my turn.
You thought that was the air conditioner breaking down.
That's it.
So,
did you have any questions or something you'd like to know in particular, or you were hoping to get out of this panel and we just did not quite hit the ball, or?
Actually, it made me feel better about something. Because
that's good.
because you were talking about how you own the original.
yes.
I'll have people ask me to draw something for them, and I usually make deals for originals.
Right.
And I'll give them their original, but I'm good. I actually was good. I scan everything, or just about everything anyway. And a couple of the prints that I have were scans from that.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have actually said, don't do that.
No.
It's like, this person paid for that.
Yeah.
How can you do that? It's like, but it's my work.
Listen, this is the thing that I tell people. So somebody commissioned somebody to draw the Mona Lisa, and there are prints and copies everywhere, and there's only one original, and it's hanging up in the Louvre or whatever it is. That's it. I mean, I don't. And if you're like Scott downstairs that does the caricatures, he takes a photograph of every one. Now, he might not be making prints of those, but as a marketing policy, these are examples of his work. Each one is a Lego towards a wall, making him promote his work to get more work later on. We all do it. That's kind of like what I was telling you about the sketchbook earlier. Make the sketchbook. Take some of your best pieces. These are examples of caricatures I've done. These are examples of pictures I've drawn for clients. This is an example of this, example of that, whatever. It's important to know what your limitations are. The sky's really the limit. Always understand that. It really is. I've taken black and white pieces and I've gotten them colored just recently when the piece is like 20-something years old. And now I have it as a print on the table. So
But don't feel bad about it. Like, say for instance, you did an original piece,
Yeah.
and you sold it to him, okay? But you've got a high-res scan of it, especially if it's like it was a black and white piece.
Yeah.
Get it colored, because really, now that's really an original, a new piece of art, because it's colored. And then just make up prints and sell it.
Right.
He's still got the original. He's not gonna go, hey, wait a minute, you know. Yeah, I took it and I colored it. Now it's a print.
I drew a picture of a father and son as zombies. The mother came up at a convention one time. She goes, here's a picture of my husband. Here's a picture of my son. They both share the same birthday. So I want to make a picture of them as zombies and like together. And can you do it? I said, sure. So I was a little impressionable of, like I want to draw you. Oh, that's so great. I don't have to draw Batman, square chin, hawk face, blah, blah, blah. I got to draw you. So I said, okay. I put a lot of time into it. I mean, I must have spent a couple of days really working on it. I could have rattled them both off in one couple of hours sitting, but I put time into it. And I made these really nice pieces, and I took some colored pencils and I embellished it and whatever, and gave her a picture of the husband and the son. So she gave it to them as presents, and she goes, are you going to make prints of these? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, they look like nobodies. They look like a nobody. Like, it's not like I'm drawing Norman Reedus and blah, blah, blah. They look like nobodies. She goes, I hope you do. That would be so cool. And I'm like, oh, okay. I never did make prints of them because it just didn't, I mean, it's nobody, it's, who's that guy?
But if
Alec Guinness, I mean.
But if there's a future thing where you need zombies,
That's what I'm saying. Wouldn't that something be like qualified
like
for
the
like
clip
a
art,
sketchbook?
yeah.
Interchangeable heads, interchangeable ears,
Yep.
blah, 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 blah. The little boy had an arrow in his head, like comic arrow in his head, and the guy had missing teeth, and part of his mouth was missing, and he had an ear coming like dangling, blah, blah, blah.
So, but I'm just saying, in the future, we need a zombie piece. He's already got a good start on it right there.
Yeah.
No, because this implies digital to me. I don't do anything digital.
I don't.
as
You know
far as
what?
drawing goes.
I'll be very honest with you. You don't have to do digital. I just got done doing a piece for this show, and if you go downstairs, they're doing like a Chinese auction where they put the tickets in the bags.
I was wondering what that was.
In the middle, there's a
I thought they were
cover.
auctioning off actual Chinese.
And there's a cover in the middle. It's a fall cover. I made it look like it was a real comic book cover, and I drew in everything. Now, JG was here, the Klingon, and I didn't know that Tim was going to be here too, because it wasn't up on the site when I first started. And he's, the utility actor that played different characters for, different shows of Star Trek. So I said I had taken the Enterprise and the Bird of Prey that I drew, and I drew his head on another piece of paper, used an X-Acto, cut it, and pasted it right up on the original and covered the Bird of Prey and the Enterprise. And I said, well, there it is. I was drawing Heather Hunsel, the writer,
Yep.
and she's really pretty, and I was not getting her eyes at all. So what I did was I took another piece of paper,
Cut out her eyes and actually stuck them right there.
stapled, drew like 5 sets of eyes, found the 2 that I really liked, cut them out with the X-Acto, pasted it up. I've done a lot of paste up over the years. I worked for a newspaper in California where we did a lot of paste up. We would literally put stuff through the waxer. It would wax the back. We would heat the boards, and we would put the wax thing on there, and it would dry. And then they would shoot the impressions before everything went digital. So you don't have to be a digital mechanic to be an artist. I don't like digital work. I don't care for it because I think that it's not organic. I like the idea of a color being a real color. I like the idea of how hard you press or how soft you do something, or that's organic to me. That's the way you make something. But I don't care for the digital stuff. But you have to embrace it because it's where we're headed. You don't have to be some digital superstar. It's better to know how to draw a face than it is to how to plot one, CGI style and CAD and whatever.
Well, it depends on what field you're going into.
That's
well.
true. That's true.
I
use Photoshop.
If you want to go into digital animation and make,
right.
Toy Story type movies and
Right.
everything,
Yeah.
absolutely, you're going to have to. So,
But I use Photoshop. I use it to plot stuff, remove little things from the scan, and obviously make the scan and blah blah blah. I've never done a digital piece, ever. Everything has always been by hand, and I started in the 70s, so I could have very easily done digital stuff when it came up. I was at the right age to learn it and be at the forefront and start at day one and move on, and you were too, and just. I never picked it up. Just never thought it was important enough.
I was just too cheap to buy the programs.
Well, there's that. Because I mean, that's one of the big things. Like I've noticed, like I said, digital art. I kind of sit on a soapbox when it comes to the digital art.
There's nothing wrong with it.
There's some advantages to digital art.
Yes.
I just don't think it. A lot of people are unfortunately, I run into it a lot. Where they're like, digital art is like, it's the thing, it's all I want.
Yeah.
The second you say to them, well, I draw on paper, they look at you like you're half a person.
I did a job where
They
they turned
look
around.
at you like you're a Neanderthal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, well, like get with it. I'm like, but
Yep.
I'm sitting there thinking, it's like, but what happens to whatever happens?
You
to
need the
days
room.
No.
Okay.
I did a job where they said, do you ink? And I said, yeah. So they looked at my stuff and they said, this is really good. What program do you use? And I told them, I said, hand-to-eye 101, fuck you. And he goes, okay, I think I have that for the PC. And he really thought that I digitally inked.
What program do you use? What's the Gilligan's Island I was watching when I did that one?
Yeah. Two
The
coconut.
Munsters.
The professor gave me a coconut
Yeah.
inker. But
I was watching Dragnet when I did this one. What program? What are you talking about?
I've actually had people pencil digitally and come to me and say ink it by hand because they don't want to digitally ink it. They wanted an organic look, and I enjoy that. I get into hassles with him. He has a good friend that's an inker also, and his style is different than mine. I prefer the more thin-lined retro style to allow the pencilers. Original pencils to shine through, a little bit of my own style. I don't care if people recognize my work. I'm an entertainer. I do the work. I don't care if I'm third zombie from the left or the guy on the ledge. Whatever part I play in the production, I'm happy to produce. So I do it, and then I aid the colorist with notes. His other inker does beautiful line work, thick and thin, blah, blah, blah. And it's more for black and white and less for color. So that's the thing. So when the guy turns around and he goes, I just penciled this digitally, I'm like, you picked up the keyboard and blah, blah, blah? No, I have a program. Oh, okay. I'm an inker. Oh, you took a digital inker. You took the mouse and dipped it in ink and whatever, blah, blah, blah. No, I have a program. I ink digitally. I said, there's ink on your monitor? And I go back and I kill them. It's like the argument with vegetarians and vegans, what's your favorite sport? I like baseball. Oh, you mean that one where they kill the horses to make the ball and they kill the cows to make the shoes and all this other stuff and all that grazing land that the cows can't eat now and hot dogs and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, jerk. But it's a matter of style and taste. And that's, like I was saying before, that's the representation that you always have to have. You got to remember that word because that will bring you back home. That word will bring you back home with everything that you do. It will always bring you back.
But if you have an interest in digital work,
yes,
some people do.
Yeah. And there's
Absolutely,
nothing wrong with it.
There's
at
nothing
all.
wrong with it.
No.
But it's almost like you'll find different artists in any trade.
Yes.
That'll go, I like to do it this way. I prefer to do it old school, or I prefer to do it new style. Or, there's probably recording artists out there that still like to put their stuff down on magnetic tape instead of all digital.
Right.
It's personal preference.
Hey, the original comic books from Golden Age all the way down, the coloring was watercolors. They used to watercolor right on the same boards that they penciled and inked on. They would take copies or Veloxes at the time, and they would do like rough colors with markers and say this is number 400 and put it to the line, and then the colorist would whatever. Now digital coloring, click it, drop the paint bucket, it's red, go back in, do like our colorist does, blah 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 blah. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. It's a different style. I have done watercolors, and I moved on to colored pencils because I really like them. I've actually used a Crayola crayon on a professional job, and they liked it because it was a sharper, like deeper looking red.
But I mean, if digital work interests you,
Yes.
definitely go into it. Look
Yeah.
into it. Don't ever be so adverse like, oh, I would never draw. Give it a try.
Yeah.
I tried a Wacom tablet for 3 weeks, and I couldn't get used to it. You know, it was like, this is not for me. And I ended up selling it, you know. But I gave it a shot.
It wasn't even the hand-to-eye coordination. When I started using my tablet, I was like, I wasn't like getting, like, I drew a box. Oh my God, there it is. Then I did shading. Oh, there it is. You know, it was like I was playing a video game. I just wasn't getting it. Then after a while, I'd be like, look, I'm drawing boobies. There they are. There it is. But that's the thing. But this is all off the subject. Back on to end up the other part, make sure that you always keep a lock on your work, and you're always representing yourself with your material. If something is public domain or generic, like I said, like the Civil War soldier or whatever, nobody owns it. Nobody. They own it. They might have secondary rights because they're going to do a reprint of it, or they're going to go back in and do a second printing or a third printing.
Yep.
But you own the original, and it's yours to do whatever you want. Now, if you sign a contract, which is the last thing I wanted to tell you, and it says you're not allowed to use this, not allowed to use that, blah, 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 that might be true. But changing the image, changing the setting that it's in, coloring a black and white, removing the coloring and making a black and white from the color version, blah, 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 which is why I scan it in stages, is important. And you can do that. You're not going to get in trouble for doing a sketch card, let's say for a large company like Upper Deck. I drew this beautiful Captain America, and I want to make a shirt out of it. Well, you can make one, it's for you. No, I can make 100, or I can make one, or I can make 10, because they're examples of my work. And if the contract says I'm not allowed to show it or make it whatever, well, okay, I'm not making a card.
Well, I mean,
This is my work.
That's like the shirts that I had done up.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Batman image that Rusty and I worked on together, classic style. But to make sure nobody got upset about it and thought I was trying to sell Batman-related merchandise, like from DC, it says, I love Jim Taylor's artwork.
Yeah.
Now it's just, it happens to be Batman, but it's my artwork.
Now,
you know?
I gotta say one thing. You're recording it, and I want to make sure for your recording that it's accurate. Nobody's trying to rip off anybody. It might sound like it. It's actually not. This is a gray area that's been going on in comics, advertising, and video games for many years, and for years to come it will go on. Believe me when I tell you that I would have total respect for every single company, Marvel, DC, Image, protecting their characters from Deadpool to Little Orphan Annie. When people ask me to draw something, I draw it for them because I'm an entertainer. You know, it's the same thing as, you know, violin player in the subway, all the way up to Bob Hope telling jokes on stage, or whatever. A little under the stage now. But the thing is that I provide I don't want to say provide a service, that sounds like I'm a plumber or something, but I provide a source of entertainment. I'm not looking to make money off of Batman. I'm looking to make money off of my work. If I had there's an artist that has a beautiful picture of Batman, better than mine. I mean, and I always teach. I always teach that there's no such thing as a piece of artwork that's better. It's a piece of artwork that's different. And I've taught that to students for years. Mm-hmm. It's not better. But I will say that there is artwork that is completely better than mine. I am completely grounded. If I'm no good, I will throw something in the garbage and move on. But better than mine. Why don't I sell his? Why don't I sell his picture instead of mine? I'm marketing myself. I don't care what it is. It could be dog shit with a bow on it, and if it's dog shit, it's not going to look any better with that bow on it. It's going to look odd, but that's it. So I'm not going to turn around and sell somebody else's stuff. It's the same respect. Mm-hmm. So any company or any person that hears this and feels like it's infringing or whatever, because I belong to a club on Facebook, one of those groups, and the leader of the club is like, you should be marketing just your stuff, nobody else's. Don't put Plastic Man or Wonder Woman on your table. It's just yours, blah, blah, blah. That's good. But you know what? Every ladder is made up of steps. And until you get to the top where you can just put your thing on the table and it's yours, take every step until you get there and market your work. Because when you're Liefeld, you can put Deadpool on the table and people will buy it because Deadpool's popular, Liefeld's popular, the setting is popular, whatever. It's him in person. He can sign it. It's all the things that you imagine. But when you get to a point where I have to draw Deadpool, well, I have to draw Flash Gordon. Well, I have to draw Superman. Well, I have to, I want to make a shirt out of it and make a couple of extra dollars. Those are steps that you take to push yourself. That's what gets you there. Liefeld, Lee, even the older guys, Kirby, Stanley, on and on and on, they didn't get there just on everybody else's stuff. They marketed themselves, and then it became their stuff. Stan Lee could sit at a blank table and make money because they're just going to say, sign all your shit, boom, and you're out. But
I made this.
that's right. That's all. I
created it all.
I think I made that. But when you until you're at that point, market everything that you've got. If somebody tells you don't do something, be respectful. Hey, I got 10 copies left. When these 10 are gone, I'm done. Then go home and do whatever the hell you want to do. Because in all honesty, I have never once heard a story accurately where somebody has said, don't draw our shit. Never once. And if they do...
Disney.
Well,
Disney can be very litigious.
Yeah, but...
But again, I think they're also experiencing the same gray area.
Yeah.
If you draw Mickey Mouse and you put it out as just an example, hey, this is how I would draw Mickey Mouse, they're not going to get crazy about it because you're not making up 10 million copies, standing on the streets of the theme park going, buy mine, buy mine.
Yeah, that's it. That's a big thing, by the way. Mass marketing. Go online and look up mass marketing because there are some people that say if you make 100, you're mass marketing. There are some people that say if you make 10,000, you're mass marketing. So, if some people
say 10 is mass marketing.
Exactly, exactly.
What is mass marketing? Define it.
Yeah. So the Octo Mom better watch it because a couple more kids and she's mass marketing.
I think she already did that.
But anyway, that's it. I mean, that's really it. You're in your own frame and you're pushing yourself. And like I said, just remember that it's always, but if you ever need help, look for me on Facebook. I'd be glad to answer any questions. And if I don't know something, I'll give you links or I'll point you to other people that do. I work with a lot of legal people and I do a lot of licensing stuff. So it's very easy to find somebody that will help, So.
Well, we'd like to thank you for coming to the panel.
Thank you.
We'd like to thank you for being the
We'd like to
panel.
thank you all for coming down.